Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Irish Bill with the good-looking guy over here, Seminole Bob. Who are you looking at? Here, this is year 10 of Irish Bill's Twist on Sports, our 7th year here at Culver's in downtown Navarre. First 3 years, a little bit of history. First 3 years, I was over at the Twist. We were doing audio only with my good friends Derek and Julie Prevet, as they were the owners of the Twist at that time, and they brought me in, and it's 10 years. This is our 10th year doing Irish Bill's
Twist. When you're having fun, Bill.
And now they get to see us on Wednesday nights, too. So hopefully you tuned in last week and caught us on our new show, the Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show.
Yep.
Last week we had a good talk with Coach Jay Walls.
Yep, it was epic. It was epic. Off the charts.
Well, what we're going to try to do with the formatting is what we talk about tonight, we will try not to talk about tomorrow night. So, we're still trying to sync everything together so that it doesn't kind of repeat itself from night to night. So if we cover things today that we cover tomorrow, just please bear with us.
Yeah, that's fine.
But what a great game to get started last Friday night, Bob.
Yeah.
Only thing bad that went wrong was
the scoreboard.
Was the scoreboard. I think the scoreboard cheated.
Scoreboard, Catholic's got a pretty dominating team, and we'll talk about their opponent this coming week. But Catholic came to play, came into Bennett C. Russell Stadium, and it reminded me of a prize fight. Just folks slugging it out. Turnovers, we score big. We score on a long play early on and have momentum, and then Catholic gets the momentum. So it was needless to say, it was a very entertaining game. Went into overtime with a field goal kick. So
they can't beat that, can you? Down to the wire.
No, I mean,
I have a soft spot for kickers, and that was. And hopefully you enjoyed the call of that game-tying kick.
For the purist football fan, that was a great game to watch.
Most definitely. Well, some of the old features that we had last year, they're going to continue. We're going to do our Panhandle Power Rankings each week. Our Players of the Week, we'll select a Offensive Player of the Week, a Defensive Player of the Week, and a Special Teams Player of the Week. We'll go over some of the outstanding performances in the Panhandle from here on over into Franklin County, Port St. Joe, Blountstown, Chipley, Graceville, Cottondale, Liberty County, Vernon, Chipley,
Blountstown,
Mariana, Holmes County, Freeport, South Walton, Destin, one of the newest programs, only to be out nude, if you can say that, by Central High.
Right.
Up north of Milton and Allentown. We got the same old perennials, Niceville, Choctaw, Rocky Bayou, Fort Walton Beach, Crestview, Baker. I know I'm probably going to – we forgot about Panama City. You got Mosley, Arnold, Rutherford, Bozeman, North Bay Haven, areas over there.
Mosley.
Yeah. And on over here to Navarre, Santa Rosa County, Navarre, Gulf Breeze, Pace, Milton, and then our new team, like I said, Central and Jay.
Fort Walton Beach.
So we got six teams in Santa Rosa County now, with 2 of them being rural. And then we head on over to Escambia County, up at the top, Northview, Tate, Pine Forest, West Florida, Washington, Escambia, Catholic. I mean, I think I've got about every one of them there off the top of my head. I may have missed a few here and there.
Pensacola High.
Pensacola High. There you go. Your wife's alma mater.
Yep.
Yours being Fort Walton Beach. We got so much football to cover, and you think that it's a lot to cover that. It is a lot, but if you enjoy what you're, like I was just talking with our future camera person here, Riley, I said if you love what you do, you'll never have to work a day in your life. And both you and I love doing this.
Absolutely.
But we're going to have our high school schedules. What we're going to do this, instead of giving you our picks, myself, Seminole Bob, and Joe, also he wants to be known as the pick wizard. Well, he's got that title for at least 1 year. I hope you or I can derail him this year because he's starting to get a big head.
Well, in high school, we did this week.
We did. But a day does not make a year. So
that's true.
So we got to have prolonged success against Joe. Joe checking in as I see down there on our YouTube live chat. So we'll be picking college games. We'll be picking high school games. So the Tuesday night show, we're going to kind of lean towards the Panhandle and talking about the Panhandle. We will go over the Raiders game, but we'll save all the stats and everything for tomorrow's show to go through those. And then we're just going to talk a lot of the games coming up. And we'll talk about, like I said, our players of the week. We'll even talk about a little bit of college football with our SIAC conferences,
yep.
HBCU schools, and our Gulf South conferences with our local school, UWF, who gets their first game underway this Friday night, I believe, against Kentucky Wesleyan.
Right.
And so football is ramped up, and we're ramped up and ready to go. So it's time to do a recap of last Friday night's Raider game. It started out with a 71-yard fumble return by Connor Black. Extra point by Tyler Daniel. What a night he had, Tyler Daniel.
Oh, man.
And 7-0 Raiders. And but Catholic would get on the board to tie it up. Actually, would not tie it up as they would miss the extra point to cut it to 7-6. They would go on. That was a run by guys. I'm going to mention his name a lot. C.J. Nettles. Wow. What a game he had as he was our Ian Lockwood player of the game. 26 carries, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 reception for 22 yards. What a game. He had 3 touchdowns, but so Catholic jumps out to a 13-7 lead early in the second quarter. Navarre would kick a field goal at the end of the first half to cut it to 3, a 33-yard kick by Tyler Daniel. The Raiders would take their first lead of the second half and take it to the fourth quarter, up 24-20 after they dropped down by 10 as Nigel Nelson put touchdown number 3 on the board for Catholic. The Raiders came back and scored 2 straight touchdown runs by Connor Matthews. Nice night for him, 19 carries, 130 yards. He will probably say that as we get to overtime, I should have held on to that ball, and he owned up to his mistake. I love Brian Lester when he goes to these young men, and he could be down, giving up the ball at the end of the game, but he was positive, said, I just got to work harder, and I got to get better. So the Raiders take a 24-20 lead into the fourth quarter. Catholic would come back and take the lead on Nettles' 3rd touchdown run of the night, and we'd get down into 3 seconds left on the clock, and the Raiders, after a penalty on Catholic, got within field goal range, a 42-yarder, and Tyler Daniels stepped up. He was going to kick, but Catholic called timeout. And so that gave him a chance to settle his nerves. He got back out there and drilled the 42-yarder to send it to overtime. Catholic would score on their first play from scrimmage in overtime on a jump pass. Raiders would get the ball back. Unfortunately, they would turn the ball over, and that would be your game. 34-27, Catholic over Navarre. Excellent game to start out the season, Bob.
Yeah, certainly we would have all preferred a win. The defense has obviously got to improve a little bit. And you give up, the other back had close to 202. Is that right?
Actually, CJ had 215, and Nigel Nelson had 88 yards, but he had the big touchdown pass in overtime.
The jump pass.
So
pass. 300 yards, rushing. I thought we did a good job in penetration. The biggest problem, Bill, I thought, was just wrapping up. We were getting good penetration at the point, but both backs were just so elusive. So elusive.
We're still waiting on the defensive stats. Hopefully, we'll have those before tomorrow night's show. But I could just, off the top of my head, first start for one Vinny Villanova, and what a game he had last night. I know he had double-digit tackles, and he stepped up big. Andre Spence as well. Great effort by Darius Cunningham, playing both ways in his very first varsity football game.
Yeah.
And I see big things out of him, and we should be getting Terrence Marshall back this week for the Pine Forest game. So you look at the receiving core. You got Tyrell and Terrence. Mm-hmm. You got Nate Hansen and Darius. And then you go to our tight end where we're 3 deep at tight end, led by B.B. Brown.
Yeah, BB had a clutch catch there in the second half, I believe.
Most definitely. But they just need to get in sync. Like I said, Terrence has been battling an off-season injury, but he should be ready to go Friday night. Hopefully, and we'll talk more on that tomorrow night. We'll get an update on him on the Buffalo Wild Wings Coaches Show. Defense, like you said, Bob, struggled to stop the run. And actually, the one thing I had really noticed was they got in the backfield, but their inability to wrap and get them down on the ground.
Just basics, blocking and tackling. And just Nettles and them, or Wilson, they're just so elusive. A lot of juking, and got to go back to wrapping up.
The way that they ran kind of reminded me a little bit of Michael Carter. The vision, the shiftiness. The Raiders thought they had him. Next thing you know, you go to reach like magic. Now they're there. Now they're gone.
Tackling air.
They were there before. When I just went to make my move, they were there. No longer. A lot of credit goes out to the running backs for Catholic. They got a tough one coming up this week as they go on the road to Escambia. Navarre heading over to Pine Forest.
Yeah, both our games are not cakewalks by any means. It'll be interesting to see how Escambia defenses their backs. And I know Pine Forest has a rushing attack as well. Not only do we see a familiar face in Tony Carter, former Navarre coach, but the quarterback for Pine Forest, I believe, used to play for Navarre.
Yeah, James Clark will be as he was the starter last week. I'm assuming that he'll be the starter this week as well. Mm-hmm. And also we'll see another familiar face on the defensive side of the ball with C.J. Hill. That plays starting corner for Pine Forest and head coach Tony Carter. I'm looking forward to Friday. I mean, it's a big matchup. The Raiders, that's tough territory to go in and play when you start off the season 0-1.
Right, and Navarre has a history of playing pretty well there at Pine Forest, but it'll be interesting matchup. To be a chess match between the two coaches, and
you thought you saw one of the best running backs last week. Well, we saw two really good ones last week. You're going to see a really good one Friday night for Pine Forest. Mikel Brock is one of the top running backs, not only in the area but in the state. And my son Brady was over there on the sideline, and he said, "Dad, he said, watching this young man run the ball, he said it's very pretty." But
very pretty.
So they like to run the ball a lot, like Catholic, but they're not afraid to throw it either because they got receivers and they got athletes galore over at Pine Forest. So that should be a heck of a game Friday night, and hopefully the weather will cooperate. I'm looking about a 40% chance of rain on Friday night, but we'll be inside.
That's good.
Yeah, that's always good. I don't want to get back to Rickards and hold the umbrella. I think that was the start of my tennis elbow.
Your bicep was 6 times as big after the game holding.
That was a big umbrella too.
Yeah. That was I want to say a fun night. It was. It was a very wet one too.
Yeah, one of my best broadcasts was very memorable. I should say one of my memorable broadcasts was at Pine Forest back in 2010 when the Raiders went in there after Pine Forest had beat them by 20 earlier in the regular season. Navarre went in there is down late, 18-14, and they got the ball back with about 4 minutes to go and went 90 yards, converted 2 fourth-down conversions. Brad Leggett with the go-ahead touchdown. And the Raiders held on and went off to their first region finals against Lincoln. But been all around the Panhandle doing games, Bob. There's not too many places I haven't been.
Absolutely.
But, we're going to go ahead and take our first break this Irish Bill with Seminole Bob. College football full slate coming up this weekend. Actually, starting Thursday night, you got Florida at Utah.
Yeah. Florida and
So,
Utah.
We'll get to those. We'll get to those picks, and we might do those picks. I got to see if I got Joe's. No, we'll do those tomorrow night. But we'll let you know who's playing this week and what picks we're going to be picking tomorrow night. So we'll be back after this commercial break. This is Irish Bill, Seminole Bob with Irish Bill's Twist on Sports.
Craig Culver of Culver's.
Before farm to table, before field to fork, there was just good, wholesome food. Grown by America's farm families, prepared fresh at Culver's, and always served with a smile. We still cook every Butterburger to order using fresh 100% Midwest beef and craft our frozen custard right in the restaurant using family farm fresh dairy. So thank you, farmers. Welcome to Delicious.
Thinking about selling your property? Call Ursula Householder of Coldwell Banker Realty in Navarre now. The consultation is free, and Ursula uses the best tools the industry has to offer. Her years as a top producer, relocation specialist, and Florida military market specialist will help you get the desired result. If you are buying, Ursula's experience will help you make an informed decision to find the right home for you. And if you mention this advertisement, Ursula will donate $100 to the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club when the deal closes. To find out if you qualify for any of the military rewards, call or text 850-642-5711 or email ursula.householder@cbrealty.com or go to urhouseholderhomes.com. That's urhouseholderhomes.com. Go Raiders!
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. If buying, selling, or building a dream home is in your future, you need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes and Stacy Wright are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or selling experience smooth. See University at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call 850-396-0322.
Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raiders Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track, whether it's seeing to it that they're properly fed, have good transportation, or making sure that all Raider fans can watch and hear all exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishBillSports.com.
Welcome back to Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. Before we get going, we have two new sponsors coming in this season. Our host of our Wednesday night show, Buffalo Wild Wings, will be coming up with a commercial for them in the very near future. And we want to welcome a new company out of Pensacola, Ronnie Good and All Dry Services. If you want anything to do with after a storm comes in, they go in and they clean everything up like it was brand new. So that's Ronnie Good with All Dry Services in Pensacola. They can be reached at 850-328-3379. So that's All Dry Services, Ronnie Good, 850-328-3379. They'll be there when things don't look so good.
And hopefully we won't have to worry about it, but we keep in prayers those that are in the path of the storm. I can't pronounce the name of the hurricane.
Idalia.
Idalia?
Like an onion. Vidalia? Idalia.
Yeah, those
I dare you. That's what I call it. I
Those-
dare you to come up here.
Those hurricanes have not been kind to Florida.
No, they haven't. Ivan. Ooh.
Ian,
Ivan. No, thank you. They can all just stay away. Well, let's say we had a full slate of games last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday last week. Monday game, Central. They get their win, their first win over Escambia County, Alabama, 26-20. Congratulations to former Navarre assistant Joe Surratt. He's now the head coach of the Central Jaguars. They get their first win. On Thursday night, Escambia over West Florida, 31-20. Mosley over Rutherford, 35-6. Rickards over Crestview. Crestview jumps out to a 15-0 lead and can't hold on as Rickards scores with 4 seconds left in the game to win 24-23. We've already talked about the Navarre game. Niceville over North Miami Beach, 29-0. Pace, not surprised that they beat Choctaw, but surprised at the margin, 41-17.
yeah, I think a lot of people in the Panhandle were very surprised about that.
Milton over Orange Beach, Alabama, 7-0, a very low-scoring game there. Another shutout, Washington over Pensacola, 39-0. Pine Forest over Tate, 48-21. Godby over Fort Walton Beach, 28-6. Leon in an upset over North Florida Christian, 31-23. Bayo, after taking a pounding in their kickoff classic against Niceville, reversed that in a 49-0 whitewash of Arnold. The Florida High Trinity Catholic game was actually moved till 29 September. Wakulla over Childs in a close one, 21-17. South Walton over Baker, 35-7. Mariana over Holmes County, 28-14. Walton over Bluntstown, 35-7. Flomaton, Alabama over Northview, 35-14, and those teams separated by like 6 to 8 miles. Bozeman over FAMU, 40-6. Sneeds, 64. Cottondale, 34. A lot of points in that game. Destin, probably one of the surprises of the night.
Yes.
Destin, 31. Freeport, 15. Wow. Franklin County loses to North Bay Haven, 42-0. Jay in a one-touchdown game, 20-13 over Vernon. Chipley over Hollis Christian, 32-0. Port St. Joe over Liberty County, 34-14. Ashford, Alabama over Graceville, 42-6. Alcilla Christian by the slimmest margins over Halifax Academy, 7-6. Lighthouse PCA scores late, gets the 2-point conversion for an 8-6 win to beat All Saints Academy out of Winter Haven. Long drive for them. Hamilton County over Jefferson County, 32-20. Deerfield Windsor over Maclay, 30-28. Carrollwood Days shuts out Madison County. When's the last time I ever heard that? Madison County getting shut out.
Man, that was a
14-0. Rocky Bayou all over Snook Christian, Alabama, 42-13. IMG Academy White team over St. John Paul II, 41-18. Brookwood School over Weewahitchka, 41-0. Fort White over Taylor County, 12-7. And our Saturday game, Lowndes, Georgia, over Gadsden County, 30-17. Out of all those games, what games surprised you, Bob?
Oh, I think for certain it was the Destin game. No doubt. That and the Madison County game. But it sounded like it was a good defensive battle in the Madison County game. Talking to folks that were at the Freeport game, they said Destin is much improved from last year. And Coach E.G. Green has got them believing. Now, they got a tall task this week going into Baker.
Joe says, bringing that up, I looked out at the comments on our live chat, and Joe says it might be a down year for Baker.
I mean, we'll
After
see.
losing their running back, Caleb Wagner goes off to Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
They're a pretty young team going into this season. But we went over last week's games. Now let's tell you, we're going to pick these games tomorrow night on the Coaches Show. Navarre at Pine Forest. Milton travels over to Niceville. Lincoln at Pace should be a really good game. Catholic at Escambia, another solid game. Pensacola heading over to the much improved Tate Aggies. Booker T. Washington at West Florida should be an interesting game.
Yep.
Fairhope, Alabama, are usually a strong program over in Alabama, travels to Choctaw. Fort Walton Beach heads over to South Walton. Bay at Mosley. This game may or may not be played. Balboa, California,
San Francisco
is traveling to Orlando to face Wakulla War Eagles, but that may or may not still be on, depending on the weather that's going through there right now. We got Rickards at Gadsden County. Madison County goes to Godby. Could Madison County fall to 0-2 to start the season?
I think they did last year, except they were playing some pretty tough Georgia teams, if I remember right.
Leon at Gainesville. Ponte Vedra at Florida High. Destin at Baker. Vernon at Franklin County. Northview travels not very far as they go over the county line to Escambia County. Joshua Christian at Rocky Bayou. Jay at Freeport. Arnold at Sneeze, and they get to face one Jason Patterson, and we'll talk a little bit about him in our next segment. Southwest Georgia High is coming over to Bozeman. North Bay Haven at Holmes County. Rutherford at Bluntstown. Chipley heads into Alabama to face off with Geneva. And our last game will be Liberty County at Mariana.
Southwest Georgia, they've already played 2 games.
Really? I know the Alabama teams have played 2 games as well.
Georgia, yeah, they're in Damascus, Georgia, the Warriors.
Where's Damascus?
Well, the other Damascus is in Syria.
I knew that.
I believe it's near.
But they're not traveling to Syria,
No,
right?
I think
We
it's
know
near-
that for sure.
I think it's near Bainbridge, if I'm not mistaken.
That is the home of the one Georgia dog.
Yeah.
Bainbridge, Georgia. And Kirby Smart.
It is.
Did you know that?
Knew he was from Georgia, but
he
I
went to Bainbridge High. Same school as the Georgia Dog. You're wondering who we're calling the Georgia Dog. Well, we do a Saturday morning show, the Southern Gentleman Sports Show, and the host of that show is Ed Hare. He is known as the Georgia Dog. Great guy. Out of small town Bainbridge, Georgia, about 30 miles north of Tallahassee. 35, maybe a little more.
Damascus is even smaller.
Even smaller?
About 300.
So there's our high school games that we're going to be picking tomorrow night. We'll go over our college games when we come back. As you have now 2 segments down on our Irish Bill's Twist on Sports for Tuesday night. I got to get used to saying that because it's been Wednesday night for the last 6 years. So we'll be back after this commercial break. Irish Bill's Seminole Bob on Irish Bill's Twist on Sports.
Before farm to table, before field to fork, there was just good, wholesome food. Grown by America's farm families, prepared fresh at Culver's, and always served with a smile. We still cook every Butterburger to order using fresh 100% Midwest beef and craft our frozen custard right in the restaurant using family farm fresh dairy. Bill! So thank you, farmers. Welcome to Delicious.
Thinking about selling your property? Call Ursula Householder of Coldwell Banker Realty in Navarre now. The consultation is free, and Ursula uses the best tools the industry has to offer. Her years as a top producer, relocation specialist, and Florida military market specialist will help you get the desired result. If you are buying, Ursula's experience will help you make an informed decision to find the right home for you. And if you mention this advertisement, Ursula will donate $100 to the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club when the deal closes. To find out if you qualify for any of the military rewards, call or text 850-642-5711 or email ursula.householder@cbrealty.com or go to urhouseholderhomes.com. That's urhouseholderhomes.com. Go Raiders!
A strong strong work ethic, takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. If buying, selling, or building a dream home is in your future, you need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes and Stacy Wright are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or selling experience smooth. See University at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call 850-396-0322.
Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raiders Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track, whether it's seeing to it that they're properly fed, have good transportation, or making sure that all Raider fans can watch and hear all exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishBillSports.com.
Haley and his Comets.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags on, join me home. We'll have some fun when the clock strikes 1. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. When the clock strikes 2, 3, and 4, if the band slows down, we'll yell for more. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. We're gonna rock around the clock.
Welcome back to Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. You know what? You ask a question live on the air, and you get an answer. Not only did we get one answer, we got 2 answers. Joe Settle tunes in our live chat, says it's 30 miles northwest of Bainbridge. And I get the producer is watching at home. She sends me a map of a picture of a map. It's north of Colquitt. Colquitt? I believe. No, it's Colquitt. Colquitt, Georgia. It's on Georgia Road 45. So there you have it. Ask a question and you get an answer.
It might as well be.
So be afraid of what you ask for.
That's right. What are the winning numbers to the lottery this coming week, Joe?
Can you tell me that, Joe? Can you tell me? Huh?
You're the pick wizard.
You're the pick wizard. Tell us what the numbers are. And you could end up waking up on Monday morning and becoming
independently wealthy.
That's right. So let's go over to our college picks. Well, there was only 7 games last week. So, but we'll talk about the scores, but we won't say who won last week. We'll wait till tomorrow night for that. Navy at Notre Dame. Notre Dame wins 42-3. Jacksonville State over UTEP in a close one, 17-14. UMass goes into New Mexico State, knocks them off 41-30. San Diego State over Ohio, 30-13. Vandy in a close one, a lot closer than I thought that one would be, 35-28. USC, a close first half, but they pull away in the second half. But that's given up 28 points to a San Jose State team. And we always have questions about the defense being played out west, don't we, Bob?
Yeah. Do you know the way to San Jose? They were beginning to wonder in the first half. You're right. It was close. The Spartans. I believe that's the Spartans.
That is correct.
Held the Trojans. You had a battle going on with swords and all kind of stuff.
300 strong.
USC, keep an eye on them.
56-28 USC over San Jose State, and Louisiana Tech and a tight one over FIU. You're saying, who is FIU? It's Florida International University.
Florida International.
So there's our college games from last week. Here's the games that we're going to pick this week. Starting Thursday night, we got Nebraska at Minnesota, Big Ten matchup. Florida at Utah should be a good game.
7 o'clock kickoff.
Then we switch over to Friday night. Louisville goes to Georgia Tech. Saturday, Buffalo at number 19, Wisconsin. The Badger gal is happy about that one.
Yeah, one of a number of 2:30 kickoffs. Bill.
East Carolina at number 2, Michigan. Utah State travels up to Iowa, number 25, Iowa. Colorado at number 17, TCU. First game as a head coach for one Deion Primetime Sanders.
Yep.
Virginia heading to Tennessee, face off to number 12, Vols. Mercer, number 22, Ole Miss. Brady and his friend will be heading over to Oxford. Well, it's not over. It's 5.5 hour drive.
Yeah, it's a 1 p.m. kickoff. Those previous 4 games at Michigan, Iowa, TCU, and in Tennessee are all 11 a.m. kicks.
Thank you, Bob. Like I said, Mercer at number 22, Ole Miss. Portland State at number 15, Oregon. Number 3, Ohio State at Indiana. Tennessee State at, I believe this has changed. Notre Dame was 13 last week. I think they moved up this week. They'll be hosting their first FCS team at Notre Dame. Tennessee State, coached by one, do you know this? Eddie George.
That's right. It is, there's no line on the game, Bill. It's 2:30 kickoff.
Usually when FCS plays FBS, there's usually not a line.
No.
UMass, fresh off their upset win over UTEP, have to go to the Plains to face off with Auburn.
And they're 38-point underdogs.
Rice going to number 11, Texas. Boise State at number 10, Washington. Nevada at number 6, USC. Southeast Missouri State heading to Kansas State. They're number 16. New Mexico at number 23, Texas A&M. Number 22, North Carolina at South Carolina. That should be a good game.
Yeah, it's only 1.5 point spread. It's a 6:30 kickoff.
The Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee State will head to number 4, Alabama. West Virginia rekindles their rivalry at number 7, Penn State.
Yeah.
South Alabama at number 24, Tulane. Coastal Carolina at UCLA. Number 18, Oregon State with DJ Uiagalelei at the quarterback position for Oregon State.
You don't say.
Number 5, LSU. Number 6, actually not at. They're actually in Orlando against Florida State. Number 6 against number 5. The game of the weekend.
We think it's going to be that day. Just don't know about storms. Even though Orlando is a bit inland, you worry about power, that kind of thing. That's a 6:30 Sunday game in Orlando.
Yeah, Joe says, are you picking this one, Joe? Colorado is in the big upset. You're taking Colorado over TCU. Wow. Should have held that till tomorrow night. Can't let any of your picks out. Now we know what direction you're going. Now it's time to jump over probably one of my favorite segments. Irish Bill Super 7 Panhandle Power Rankings for the large schools. You say, Bill, what's a large school? Class 3S and 4S. And we have the small schools, which is 1R rule, 1S, and 2S. So here's your order. Not much change in this from last week into preseason. There was one change, one new entry into the top 7. Pine Forest stays at number 1. Niceville is at 2. Escambia 3. Pace 4. Choctaw drops down to 5. So Pace and Choctaw switch spots. Milton jumps into it with a 7-0 shutout victory over a team out of Orange Beach, out of Alabama, and Navarre slips to number 7. Over in the small schools, Catholic, impressive win last week at Navarre. Walton moves up to number 2. West Florida drops to 3. South Walton holds steady at 4, as does Sneads and Chipley. And our new number 7 this week is Port St. Joe.
They're strong. very strong.
Devin Catino in his third year starting over there for the Tiger Sharks. And we'll say, well, Bill, you said that you got your Panhandle Pro rankings next to your Players of the Week, right? You are correct.
Must have been difficult this week.
The offensive was really difficult.
Yeah.
It came down to two: Snead's Jason Patterson and Pace's Nick Simmons at quarterback. What a great game, Nick Simmons. He basically took over that game last week for the Patriots. But it comes down to Jason Patterson. Rushed for over 2,500 yards as a junior last year for Snead's. He continued right where he left off. He rushed for 254 yards on 12 carries. And 4 touchdowns.
Mercy.
And an 83-yard kickoff return as well. So there's 30 points. And he had 3 two-point conversions. So he basically beat their opponent, Cottondale, by himself, 36-34. So he is our offensive player of the week. Our defensive player of the week, we talked about Port St. Joe just a minute ago, where we're going to head back there. Asher Peacock produced 20 tackles and a tackle for loss in a 34-24 win over Liberty County. So that leaves one more. What is that one, Bob? Our special teams?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to go very far for this one. I think we just have to go down the street. Well, Navarre's Tyler Daniel,
Good for him.
42-yard field goal with no time on the clock as he sends the game to overtime. He nailed a 33-yard earlier at the end of the second half. He went 3 for 3 on extra points and a perfect night, 9 points on the night for Tyler Daniel, awards him our special teams player of the week.
And he almost single-handedly beat Catholic.
He did.
Do you remember? And that was his first varsity game, correct?
That was his.
Other than
well, he had a couple
Classic.
kicks last year. He filled in. He filled in for Taylor, and but he stepped right up. No nerves of steel at the end of the game, and a lot of times let's put this statement away. You do not ice the kicker. The kickers actually love that. That is what they train for. That's like me when I was in the military. When they said I was going to the desert after 9/11, I said, that's what I trained for. And
Right.
Tyler stepped right out there. They called timeout. Didn't ice him. In fact, it actually calmed him down a little bit, and he walked right there and drilled that 42-yarder as the clock showed zeros.
You remember, I'm sure very well as a dad, Brady's first game kicking in varsity.
I do.
Do you remember the game?
I'm trying to remember back. That was 2015. That was the first game of that season.
Well, how was he? How was he going?
He was ready.
Yeah.
He trained.
Played JV.
4 years of training with one-on-one kicking. Coach Mike McCabe prepared him for that moment. Did he have a few misses that year? Yeah, he had a few. He made 4 out of 5 field goals that year because the Raiders weren't scoring field goals. They were scoring touchdowns with Michael Carter and Hassan Williams. Both of them, they scored a lot of points that year in 2015, and their defense was pretty stout too. No pressure. Just walk up there and do your job.
He was excited.
He was excited to finally get to prove himself on the field of play.
Did he play JV or freshman?
He played his freshman year. That was the first year that he actually kicked a football. And then JV his sophomore and junior years, and because Navarre had a kicker at the time, Luke Morton was a senior his junior year, and Luke had a good season in 2014. So Brady got his chance in 15. Unfortunately, in the next game of the season, he got hurt against Gulf Breeze, and was unable to play the last 2 games of his senior season, but still went on and played 4 years of college football.
Not a lot of people can say that.
No, but we had some great performances out there other than these individuals. So congratulations goes out to Jason, Asher, and Tyler. Other performance out there, Scambia's Anthony Hall, 16-29, 279 yards and a touchdown. Wells Bettenhausen, 14-23, 242. Tate Davis of Tate.
That's a good name.
10 of 15, 205 yards, which 9 of those 10 completions went to one man. Well, Christian, listen to this last name, is Neptune. 9 catches, 200 yards. 200 out of the 205 yards passing went to Neptune. But
let's don't forget the two guys from Catholic.
But most definitely
running the ball.
But those are the wide receivers. Joshua Jackson with Scambia 5 for 129. Running back C.J. Nettles 25 carries, 215 yards. Yeah. On any normal night, that would be one of our top players of the game consideration. Eddie Love. Yeah, you remember that name, don't you, Bob? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great for opening game for him at Fort Walton Beach. Eddie rushed for 184 yards on 22 carries and had 4 receptions for 33 yards. Dorian White, 24 carries, 169 yards. Jays Brock Stout, 29 carries, 164. Connor Matthews, 19 carries, 130. Northview's Devin Kelly, 18 for 149. Defenses, Walton's Daniel Boatwright, 14 tackles. 11 tackles each for Vernon's Caden Hammock and Graceville's Jamaris Gaynor. Mosley's Tayshawn Kyle, Roshan Taylor with 10 tackles each. And Port St. Joe's Chance Gaynor, 2 interception returns for touchdowns and a 67-yard punt return for a touchdown. So he scored 3 touchdowns, and he didn't play on the offensive side of the ball. Then our special teams, Mosley's Josh Harris goes 5 for 5. And Pace's Zachary Widner, one of the best return guys in the area. He had 2 kickoff returns for 122 yards and a 95-yard touchdown. So there's our Panhandle Power Rankings. Class 3S and 4S, the large schools, Pine Forest, Niceville, Escambia, Pace, Choctaw, Milton, and Navarre. Our small schools, Catholic, Walton, West Florida, South Walton, Sneads, Chipley, and Port St. Joe. Our offensive player of the week from Sneads, Jason Patterson. Our defensive player from Port St. Joe is Asher Peacock. And Navarre's Tyler Daniel is our special teams player of the week. Wow. I love going through Max Preps and our newspaper articles and figuring out all these guys' stats. It reminds me of my days growing up. There would always be a rush to run downstairs and grab the morning newspaper.
Right.
With the box scores and everything, and I would always be the first one up, so I go down and get them. But that's what this kind of reminds me. But now we got this internet thing, and that helps a lot.
Cuts down on buying newspapers, huh?
Most definitely. But now let's head over. We're going to go ahead and our Navarre Raiders segment. Where are they now?
Where are they now?
The numbers are starting to dwindle a little bit. Mm-hmm. But Michael Carter, New York Jets running back, he's in his 3rd year. They have their first game on September 11th against the Bills, a night game there.
Monday night, yeah.
Monday night. Houston Astros outfielder Michael Sandel, he's still in their single A. He's having a subpar batting average season, but he has hit 10 home runs, 33 RBIs. This is his 3rd year in the major leagues, actually in the minor leagues, where he's averaging a 250 batting average, 26 home runs, 112 RBIs, 48 stolen bases. That's Michael Sandel, was drafted in the 10th round by the Houston Astros. LSU's defensive lineman Jordan Jefferson, new home for Jordan this year. And sounds like they're expecting a lot of big things out of him over there. Oh, coach, but you don't coach over there anymore.
I like this boy, Jordan Jefferson. He was a Raider.
He was a Raider.
And he was a Mountaineer.
A Mountaineer as well.
Yeah, and I was heading down to Orlando, and there was this storm.
Idalia?
I like Vidalia onions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we want to tell those people be careful and get the heck out of Dodge.
Did you make sure that you stocked up on Red Bull before the storm came in, Coach?
That's called Hurricane Party. Yes.
Okay.
Preparation, canned goods, and Red Bull is in a can.
So are you going to Orlando just to party, or is there something going on in Orlando this weekend?
Well, I don't want to tell my sweetheart, but I got a date with Minnie Mouse.
Minnie Mouse. Something you're doing Sunday night? Are you going to the game?
What game? What game?
LSU at Florida State against Florida State.
Those Native Americans, that would be no match for. LSU was favored in that game.
Yeah.
All the people are picking them. Sports Illustrated, Fox, CBS, ABC, FBI, CIA. They're all picking LSU.
Really? CIA's getting into it too now?
But I heard your boy Settles, the nose picker, the pick wizard.
The pick wizard, yeah, him.
There's rumor that he's going to pick FSU, and I've got one thing to say to him.
What's that?
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Well, I appreciate you always stopping in. Coach always stops in. We got 2 locations now, Coach. You found this one okay? This is the one you usually come to over the last few years.
I like going up and down Highway 98. You know me.
So the question I have for you, Coach, is which do you prefer? Culver's and their frozen custard, or Buffalo Wild Wings and their wings? Is there no?
Well,
you like them both?
I like to get a vanilla custard.
Just vanilla?
Yeah, and pour me some Red Bull over.
I have never heard of that before, Coach.
Some blueberry Red Bull. But then, Buffalo Wild Wings has some adult beverages.
Okay.
Adult beverages. And so they're about equal.
Okay.
I'm glad. Man, the show's just expanding. You know what? I need to call me some Red Bull and tell them that they need to be a corporate sponsor.
We would appreciate that, Coach. Can you give us a good plug?
Yeah, as long as I get to drink all the Red Bull they give you.
Well, I don't drink Red Bull, so you can drink it all.
I've got this new way I drink it,
Do you shoot it?
No, I hold my pinky out when I drink it, and I use a straw.
No.
Yeah, man. In Baton Rouge, they probably take my man card away. But, hey, man, I got to go.
Well, I'm glad that you stopped in to talk about Jordan Jefferson, the new Tiger over there in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, you may see Jordan Jefferson playing at the next level.
He's a large young man.
I think he stays away from the Red Bull.
He's like 6'2", maybe 6'2", like 315. He clogs up the middle. There's not much place for him to go. Sort of like your intestines being clogged up by that Red Bull.
But Bill Hamill, you're a good man, and all the people down in South Florida, we say God bless you.
Indeed.
Be safe.
Well, let's head up to Philadelphia this time. You're going to say, Wyatt, do we have anybody playing up in Philadelphia? Well, yes, we do.
Steve Carlton?
Dante Wright moved from Colorado State,
yes,
so he moves from the rather green state of Colorado to the winter weather of Philadelphia, the brotherly love city. And he's going to be playing for Temple this year, his senior year, playing along with Kurt Warner's youngest son. He's a quarterback at Temple.
How about that?
So wish Dante all the best. Their first game is this Saturday against Akron, 2 o'clock kickoff. And next we're going to head over to Huntingdon. They'll be at Berry College, always a tough place to play in division. Actually, Berry College is Division III football. Mm-hmm. And so Huntingdon heading up to take on Berry College this weekend. Eastern Kentucky, we got Josh Carter, his second year running back up there for Eastern Kentucky. They'll be at Cincinnati. They're heading to Cincinnati to face off with the Bearcats. 3:30 kickoff on Saturday. Elijah Melendez not at Valdosta State. He jumps from Division II to Division I AA FCS. He'll be playing for McNeese State this year in Louisiana. They'll be playing Tarleton State this weekend, a 7 o'clock kickoff on Saturday night. North Carolina Wesleyan quarterback Zachary Marquise and defensive back Mekhi Domino getting ready to start their junior season at North Carolina Wesleyan. They got a 2 o'clock kickoff at noon versus Randolph-Macon. Huntington College, Bailey Houston, he's going to be a junior already. It doesn't seem possible.
Gosh.
Just seemed like we turned around, Bailey was just heading off to school. Well, they're going to be at Berry College. Weber International, Derek Percival, he's playing defensive back only now up there.
Okay. Yep.
He'll be a sophomore. They'll be facing off with Cumberland University. Mike Higwood, former Navarre Raider, played at Cumberland.
Yep.
They're faced off 1:30 on Saturday. Friday night game, West Florida is Devin Wright. He's a linebacker, the younger brother of Dante Wright, and he's a redshirt freshman. They'll be hosting Kentucky Wesleyan at 6 o'clock on Friday night. We'll be in Pensacola, but we won't be there. Then Warner University tight end Davian Hardy. He's a redshirt freshman. They'll be at Brevard College this weekend. Kennesaw State offensive lineman Ethan Newman, a freshman. They'll be facing off with Tusculum. I've been to Tusculum before. Brady played up there when he was at Shorter.
Where's that at?
It's over in eastern Tennessee. It's about 90 miles east of Knoxville.
Is it anywhere near Damascus, Georgia?
No,
Okay.
it's way up north.
Yeah.
Then Birmingham Southern defensive lineman Isaac Cole. Remember Big Isaac?
Oh, man.
He'll
yeah.
be at Birmingham Southern. They're facing off with MMR this week. I'm not sure what that stands for, but that's what was on the schedule. They'll be actually playing Thursday night at 6 p.m. And then Dwayne Clark Jr., good old number 7. It'll be his freshman year for Huntington College. So there's our list of players still playing for Navarre Raiders where they are now.
Yep. Don't forget Miss Villanova. And I can't remember her name. Bill's daughter is a cheerleader for West Florida.
Yeah. And a former Navarre Raider who's transferred to Niceville his senior season, Christian Caballero, will be playing at Villanova. Segue.
Oh.
You like that?
Very good. In Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia. So he'll be up there with Dante Wright.
Yeah.
I don't know how far apart they are. So that takes care of our now the Gulf South Conference schedule coming up this weekend. Mississippi College at Kaiser, North Greenville at Charleston Southern, Shorter at Sanford University, Chowan at Barton, Delta State at Missouri SNT. I've been up there to Rolla, Missouri. I've been up there. Brady played up there his junior year, I believe. Angelo State at West Alabama, Limestone at West Georgia, Kentucky Wesleyan at West Florida, and Point College is. You know where Point College is at?
Is that High Point near North Carolina?
No, there's Point College in Georgia.
Okay.
It's on the way right before you get to LaGrange. It's south of I-85.
Okay.
Not far
Near
south.
Damascus.
And
Everything's near
everything's near
Damascus.
Damascus.
Near Damascus.
And then they'll be at Valdosta State, a great place to watch a game. Haven't got the schedule for the SIAC this year, but the Benedict, Fort Valley State, Albany State, Savannah State, Edward Waters, Clark, Atlanta, Morehouse College, Allen, Tuskegee in the West, Lane College, Kentucky State, Central State, and Brady's alma mater, Miles College.
It's, some of those games, both college and high school, will be probably affected by Hurricane Idalia. And,
You got it right.
Yeah.
You didn't say the onion this time.
Yeah, the Vidalia. The Vidalia. But, football's back, Bill, officially in college.
Before we go on, Friday night we're going to welcome Riley into the booth. He's going to be working our camera. He's a freshman at Navarre High.
Right.
His older sister is a sophomore in the band. So wherever the band goes to perform,
He's there anyway.
the family goes. And I assured Melissa, who I got to meet tonight, his mom,
yeah.
that even if the band doesn't go, that Riley is welcome to ride with us.
Sure.
If they do not go, and he is in good hands most of the time.
Just watch out for flying tires on
Oh,
I-10.
gosh. You brought that up.
But we don't go to Tallahassee this
We
year.
don't go to Tallahassee, but we start going that way, and then we go north
Yeah,
up to the Ozarks.
We'll go to Ozark, Alabama, in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and well, she's got a nickname possibility for Riley. She goes, how about Raider Riley?
Raider Riley. That's
You got it. That's going to
Raider
stick.
Riley.
Raider Riley.
I like that. I like that. They're a big Saints fan.
They are big Saints fans, but we are going to go with Raider Riley, or Riley Raider.
You know, one of our
Does that sound about Riley Raider?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to go with.
one of our college, Oregon plays Portland State. You know what Portland State's mascot is?
Portland State. That's where Neil Lomax played.
Ooh, very good.
I remember a score. They had one of the highest scoring games, 105-0. One of their college scores.
He may have been involved in it. They're the Vikings.
The Vikings. I did not know that. You
Vikings.
see, folks, when you come on either this show or a Wednesday night show, you're probably going to learn something new.
Whether you want to or not.
Because between our years of experience, we're not old. We're older. We'll never say anybody's old. We're older. With our vast knowledge of experience, we come out with some facts that sometimes, as Brenda Kay, our producer, says, I have a mountain of useless information.
Mountain of useless information. However, that mountain of useless information has an adorable grandson
Yes, it does.
that you
And-
bounce on.
And he will be attending his very first football game on Friday night. My daughter Brooke, the producer Brenda Kay will be out there, and Jared will be attending his first Navarre Raider football game as they play at Pine Forest.
Well, Brenda Kay,
Yep.
if Navarre wins, or I should say when they win, Jared may have to come to all the games because you can't break a streak, right? It's unlucky.
I'm trying to look to see what
That's pretty exciting. His first game.
what she is sending me.
And Gigi is, I guess, Brenda Kay's grandparent name.
Yep, Gigi and Papa.
Oh, is that your papa?
Papa.
Like Papa Smurf?
Yep. Except I don't have blue hair, and I'm not blue. That's the only difference. We're both older.
Well,
Okay.
it's great to be back at Culver's, Bill. Looking at the custard, and I got myself a cold drink here.
Okay, one thing that is nice is with it being on video, that we video stream, Honey just informed me that they're going to show the game here on the TVs at Culver's, along with Buffalo Wild Wings. So if you go to Culver's or to Buffalo Wild Wings, you get to watch Navarre Raider football.
Honey, you're my favorite honey. Thank you. Thank you, and I hope all is well with your family. Thank you for sharing Culver's with the community. You know, ever since this place has been open, the parking lot's always filled. You've got great employees, welcomed us here tonight.
I miss, though, our young lady that used to always come in.
Ginger.
Ginger. I've not seen Ginger in a while.
Ginger, she's stranded on an island, Marianne.
Headed on a 3-hour tour.
Yes, with the
Minnow would be lost.
That's right.
But so if you can't make it out to the game on Friday night, you can head right here to watch the game now. I think that's what she's saying. If not, I'll get that out on our social media. Our
all
Buffalo
the
Wild
custard
Wings.
you could probably want to order and pay for. Watching Navarre Raider football and eating custard from Culver's.
With the temperatures it's been, that custard would
MG.
probably taste pretty darn good.
Oh, man. I'm telling you what. I had some here the other night. It was.
I think I'm going to get some on my way out.
Thank you.
But
The Culver's. I go by the one in Miramar Beach. Packed. Drive by the one in Fort Walton Beach. Very smart location. They get a lot of the hospital traffic and military traffic.
oh yeah, perfect location, sandwiched right in the middle of Eglin and Hurlburt.
Yep.
And the hospital is like a block and a half away.
Yep. Just down from the Liza Jackson School. But, yeah, this officially is not week 2 in college football.
It's week one? What do you think of that week 0 stuff?
I'm just does it really matter what
It doesn't
just
really
call
matter.
It
It's
one.
just an extra week. We get to watch more football.
Yeah. How do you feel about playing in? We wrap up. How do you feel about playing on FBS school?
At the what?
FBS or Notre Dame plays Tennessee State.
Yeah, they're playing at home.
That's what I'm saying.
Playing an FCS school, I think it's a great opportunity for Tennessee State to come in and get humiliated. But no, it's I think it gives a chance for those schools to, one, take home a nice paycheck for their athletic program.
I'm sure Notre Dame is
And
paying.
two, those players will never get to play in South
Touchdown
Bend
Jesus.
in front of Touchdown Jesus, probably ever again, unless one of them transfers.
You watched
to
the
Notre Dame.
game. What did you think of Notre Dame?
I was very impressed. Not surprised at Sam Hartman's performance. I've always liked Sam Hartman. I mean, the numbers he put up at Wake Forest are incredible. He looks like he stepped right in. I mean, early on he threw behind his receivers a little bit, but he got settled in. 19 of 23, 4 touchdowns. That's hard to argue with. And the offense seemed like they were moving the ball. And people say, you played Navy. Well, Navy has always kind of given Notre Dame some struggles, especially on defense.
Yep.
But where the Notre Dame is more talented is that wide receiver this year. Freshman Jaden Greathouse had 2 touchdown receptions in the game, and they just looked more comfortable out there on the offensive side of the ball.
I'm looking forward to seeing former Notre Dame tight end
Michael Mayer
He
starting,
dropped in the draft to the Las Vegas Raiders.
and that's been announced that he will be their starting tight end.
Sure will.
That is talk about a man chiseled out of stone. You look at that guy, and he's got hands. You hit him in the hands, he's not going to drop it. And he runs great routes. And not the fastest, not the fleet of foot as some of the tight ends in the NFL now, but he's. I think he's going to have a long career in the NFL.
Good blocker.
So
blocker.
today was Pink Slip Day in the NFL.
Yeah.
As they cut from 90 down to 53. Some of those players will get a chance on practice squads, but a lot of those are hunting for a new home.
The Thomas boy from Niceville made the Cowboys.
A lot of praise for Wanye Thomas.
Yeah.
And his younger brother, I believe, is still at Florida State, Azarea. And both played at Niceville. They started at Walton, moved over to the Niceville area. Right. And 2 talented young men right there. But, well, you ready to head on out? Because we got another show tomorrow night.
We do.
We do.
We do.
So we appreciate y'all stopping in to Culver's, our first show of the 23 season. And we'll be here for the next nine weeks. Rain or shine, or well, we don't have to say snow, because it hardly ever says snow.
Well, we had a hurricane in Southern California, and we've had earthquakes and fires, and we're waiting for the locusts and the streams to turn into blood. But who knows? That'll be fun. What I was about to say is I hope we go longer than 9 weeks.
Me as well. But that's going to be a tough Class 4S District 1 this year between Tate, Pace, Milton, Navarre, and Gulf Breeze. It's wide open.
I think so, too. Every game is going to be very competitive. If you were handicapping the high school games, you'd call them all pick-em games. Tate is no slouch. Milton must have done something good shutting out an opponent from Baldwin County. That says a lot. And Pace, what they did to Choctaw.
Wow. That's when I saw the final score, I was like,
cray.
What? I mean, after the way that Choctaw finished up last year and upsetting Pine Forest, gave them their only loss of the season last year at Pine Forest.
Augustine.
And we thought, and they got the running back that's going, Cole Tabb going to Stanford, and Jesse Winslet. I mean, the guy's 6'7". He's taller than both of us combined. But I thought they were going to go up there and give him a game, but it was all pace. But well, we got a game Friday night. We'll be heading over to Pine Forest. I believe it's a 7 o'clock kickoff.
It is.
So we'll be on the air at 6:30, and Raider Riley will be on Riley Raider, which we'll decide which he
kind of like
he
Jordan
likes.
Travis Jordan.
Yeah. I always messed that up for the first 2 years he was there.
But we appreciate him coming in, getting his bright future hours in.
Most
as
definitely.
A freshman and
meeting his mom Melissa tonight, and we look forward to the next couple of years, hopefully with Riley alongside us, and we'll even get him on the air.
Could be.
But for Seminole Bob and Irish Bill, this has been Irish Bill's Twist on Sports from Culver's in downtown Navarre, blocking the bridge from beautiful Navarre Beach. Be back next Tuesday night. I got to get used to saying Tuesday night.
I know.
As we'll be back here for week 2 of Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. Have a good night, folks. Stay dry out there, and may the wind ever be at your back. This is Irish Bill signing off.
Good night, Navarre, and God bless.